if you look at Twitter, all you see is black men out there for their kids. Bro, I'm there for my kids, bro. Oh, black men don't do this. Bro, I do all of it, bro. Okay, yeah, it's a select few of us who not doing what we need to be doing, but who are you to judge us?
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as black men and as a black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Man, we tapped in with Tez. Bro, I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
This is about to be a dope episode, bro. So who are you? First of all, founder of One Love Clothing.
Yes, sir.
Limitless Investments. Is there anything else that you're doing that I'm not mentioning right now that I'm missing out?
Yeah, my very first business called Snagger-Rag. So that's how I was doing do-rags, bonnets. I still actually own that. And really outside of those, I really just try to give out as much game as possible.
Absolutely. You're always giving game. One of the reasons why I even was like put on to you at first is because I saw your ads. It's so interesting. We were just talking about ads. I saw one of your ads. I think that was when you was like heavy into One Love. You were in, this is probably, I don't know, you let me know if this is like your most like viewed ad. It was the one where you're in your factory.
Yeah. I have a couple different
You have a couple ones in your factory. I can't remember exactly what you were doing, but I think it was the one that was in your factory, and it was one where it was you and your daughter, and maybe one other person, and y'all had like
photo shoot.
My
sister.
Yeah. I was like, yo.
Yeah. Bro.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough.
That's how I got started.
I
mean, the first two, like my very first ad that I had made, like when I first got started with my do-rag brand was with me and my daughter. And we wasn't running ads to it yet, but that was the first time I ever went viral on social media ever. And it was with me and her, and we was like showing off these velvet do-rags, and she was like falling. And at this time she was like probably like 10, 11 months. So she's standing up, falling, looking around, pulling stuff. And it was just a lot of people loved the fact that it was like, you know, a young dad, you know, promoting his brand, got his kid. So I was like, you know what, that's when I started getting into the ad world. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, if this is going viral organically, I bet if I just put more eyes on it, go crazier.
Yeah. You know, you got me thinking now, I gotta run some ads on some of my viral stuff, bro. I got a few clips or reels. I'm like, yo, I could put something behind that.
Yeah, bro, it works, bro.
Yeah. So what did you, we ain't gonna talk about the business too much, because I really don't. Like, the business is cool, but I want to talk more on the personal side. I feel like you always talking about the business.
Oh yeah.
And you don't,
thank God, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you always talking about the business. And, you know, business is cool, but we definitely got to get into the journey. I think it's gonna be helpful for people to hear about like your personal side. But I'm gonna just ask this one question and we'll go. So when you did that ad for your daughter, the one where you had your daughter with the do-rags, did you did you redo it at all, or did you just kind of run it off the original content?
Organic.
Okay.
Same way I do, like, you know, and that's the cool thing too, is like, I love being in front of the camera. So every single ad that you've ever seen from me, no script, no, I'm about to say this or nothing, like it's just me. As soon as the camera turned on, they say go, I'm on it.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy. That's a little wild. I ain't gonna lie, because when I do like my little like, I do like call to actions for like the end of the podcast and stuff like that. I write out a whole script. That's the only time I script stuff is when I do like ads or something like that. But I'm thinking now maybe I should stop scripting it so much. You got me thinking about that.
It's better organic in my opinion. And like even in my YouTube videos, like when I'm promoting Limitless, like I take like a 1 minute video and I, you know, or a 30-second video and I promote it somewhere inside of the video. But even then that was all organic, no script, no nothing. It's just talking about the key benefits, features. And I don't know, my brain just kind of processes things a little bit differently. I can just spit exactly the most important things about what I'm about to say and keep it condensed, but also making sure that it's straight to the point.
Right. That's solid. So let's get off the business tip. I don't even want to be on that. Let's talk about your journey getting here, because I know people see you right now. They see the polished individual that you are right now, but they don't understand the work that it took, the sacrifices, the things that you went through, all of that, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I heard you talk about was like your celibacy journey.
Yeah.
Can you speak on why that was important for you? And then also you stopped smoking as well, right? Why did you feel like both of those things were important for you? And then what did you gain out of doing that?
Honestly, bro, celibacy is, when I did it at like the first time I did it, I was going through a situation in a relationship that was very toxic. And you know, a lot of times, especially in today's society, you might feel like you have a soul tied to a person. And you know, because I was having consistent sex with this person and I'm consistently, you know, around them, and their energy is so like it's so predominant in my life at that moment, I felt like I couldn't go without it. And the reason I went celibate was like, you know, after I got out of that relationship, I went down a toxic road of, let me just mess with every single girl that wanted to mess with me. You know what I mean? And I opened myself up to all of these different women, when in reality, I should have kept myself closed in. And after a few months of doing it, you know, you hiding things from girls, you lying, you doing this, you drinking, you smoking, you know, you trying to balance this. It's like, when I looked at where I wanted to be overall, it didn't align with where I was trying to get to.
Right.
So celibacy was really like, all right, let me sit down for the next 4 months, 5 months. Let me sit down and lock in on my craft. So I stopped having sex, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking. And at this time I was about 21. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna work on my business, I'm gonna promote my business. I'm gonna do everything that I know my future self would thank me for right now. And celibacy was just a way to, you know, it's power in the semen, bro. So when you keep that shit in and you able to utilize your brain a lot better, and you're not balancing all these women, you go straight zero. There's nothing else to do but work on yourself. And that's where the superpower really came in, and doing it at 21, doing it again during the 75 hard challenge.
I was just about to talk to you about that.
Yeah, bro, it's a blessing, man.
Yeah, so let's talk about 75 hard. First of all, what is that, right? For the people that don't know, why are you doing it? And what have you gained from doing it so far?
Yeah, so it's a 75 day challenge where basically it's a full mental, physical, and emotional transformation. At least that's how I view it, right?
Okay.
And over the next 75 days, you have to be up before 8 a.m. You got to work out twice a day. One has to be outside. There's no alcohol. I also threw in no weed as well, so I'm not doing that as well. On top of that, I try to get to bed a little bit earlier, so that forces you to go to sleep earlier when you got to wake up early. On top of that, you do have to make sure that you're drinking a gallon of water a day. I kind of removed that one just because I don't like using the bathroom that often, especially at night. I can't really sleep. And then the last one is reading at least a chapter or 10 pages, and then a progress picture every day. So right now I'm on day 18. I've been working out two times a day for the last 18 days. And man, like the clarity that I have is crazy. And I got a girl now, so it's like she's doing it with me. So we're both like super locked in. Super locked in.
Let's talk about that, bro. You've been more public about your relationship recently. I love it personally. I'm public about my relationship. So anytime a brother is public about his relationship, I'm going to encourage him to keep doing it. But I know, you know, there's some things that come with that. Let's not talk about the negative. Let's talk about why you feel like it's important for you to talk about your girl and what your girl also does for you. Right.
I mean, honestly, bro, I'm at the point in my life where metrics never mattered to me. And they definitely don't matter right now. But I also never really cared about another person's opinion of me, because at the end of the day, you know, you take a look at the grand scheme of things. On my deathbed, there's going to be a select few of people in that room. And at my funeral, it's still going to be a select few people there. So, you know, at the end of the day, when we live in this world where you want to hide what you got going on and things like that, you know, I respect people's privacy again. I mean, if you don't want to put your relationship out there, don't do it. It definitely can ruin a lot of relationships. However, for me personally, it's just like, I think it's dope to show off my girl because she's dope. You know what I mean? And like, she's the person that I confide in a lot of the time. So, you know, y'all may see the social media aspect of me, but she sees me for me and all the ups and downs that I'm going through. And, you know, it's like praising her publicly as well, because she deserves it. And, you know, as far as what she does for me, bro, she's somebody that I can confide in. You know, and as a man, bro, it's so difficult for us to address our emotions. And that's why I love the podcast so much, because y'all talk about a lot of things. And I've seen a couple of the clips that went viral, and you were like spitting game. And I'm like, damn, I really agree with that. I wish I would have, you know, said it like that. But look, bro, got it. But, you know, I really do feel like it's a problem right now for us to be able to communicate ourselves. And you know, there's different narratives. Like if you communicate yourself to a woman, then she's not going to respect you as a man. And that's not always true. Yeah. If you're just dealing with women and you telling them how you feel and stuff, 9 times out of 10, yeah, they're going to think of you as weak. But when you got a woman and she really down for you, and it's not really about the money, it's not about, you know, reputation or status or none of that stuff. It's she's down for you because of you. Then you can confide in her and she's going to have your back. And, you know, when people ask me, you know, well, what do you want in a relationship, bro? I don't care to have, she don't gotta have a crazy ass, you know, she don't gotta have a crazy body. She don't have to, you know, be doing all of this, bro. I don't care about none of that stuff. It's really like, can I communicate with you? Is this a revolving door where I could come in and actually express myself to you? And then also like in times where I'm not pushing myself hard enough, are you gonna be there like, yo, you know, you could go harder. Why are you not locking into the gym how you know you should be? Or giving me praise, bro. Like how often as men do we get praise?
Ooh, you
like,
spitting.
Yeah,
Keep going.
You never
going.
like, you know, I think about a lot of times like black men, we don't get praised for the things that we do, right? Like if you look at Twitter, all you see is black men out there for their kids. Bro, I'm there for my kids, bro. Oh, black men don't do this. Bro, I do all of it, bro. Okay, yeah, it's a select few of us who not doing what we need to be doing, but who are you to judge us?
Right. Let them know, bro. Listen, man. Listen, you spitting. I already know we about to get into it. First of all, thank you so much for saying all that because I think it's important. I see a lot of people talk about, oh, you shouldn't post your partner unless you guys are married, blah, blah. Well, I was just having this conversation with Bo and D today.
Yeah,
we was literally just having this conversation with Bo and D. If y'all not tapped in, being there, Bo, D, they have a great show. I'm not even gonna call it a podcast, it's a show. I see great things for them. We just did a episode. So I don't know when it's gonna air. But y'all should definitely tap in with them.
Check them boys out, man. Shout out to my boy Bo. Shout out to D to Don.
Facts. And so we were talking about how people have this notion that you shouldn't share your relationship because it's gonna ruin it. And my thought process is, listen, man, that's y'all.
Yeah, facts.
That's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not me. That's not me. That ain't me, bro. That's y'all.
Oh,
you
God.
feel me? And if that's how you feel, that's okay. But just acknowledge how you feel about your situation or your past situations and leave that for yourself. But let people that's out here happy in their relationships that want to show off their partner. You get what I'm saying? Like, I love the fact that you said my girl is dope. That's the same way I feel, right? Like, my girl is dope. Why am I gonna not show my girl off because we not married? Like, what?
It's insecurities in other people though.
That's what I'm saying too, bro. It's like a lot of people be insecure about themselves or their situation. They haven't really practiced discernment with that person, so they're not really sure, but they still want to be in a relationship. And you get what I'm saying? So in those situations, of course, I'm not going to post because I'm not sure if this going to last past the next week.
Yeah, facts.
You feel me? And I can post it today, and then next week we're not together. Now I feel dumb.
Yeah.
You feel me? But if I know I'm with my shorty and we're in the destination, really not even the destination, but one of the milestones is marriage, and we're going to be together forever, and that's my vision is.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have no problem with that.
100%.
I don't have no problem posting her. So I'm so glad you said that. Also, another thing that you talked about that's so important, you said how often do we as men get praised or affirmed for what it is that we do? Never. I was just telling Bo and D, it's so interesting. I was just telling David too. I said there was a lot of conversation that I was having with them. That was like the first time I was saying that publicly, but I know it's going to hit. And what I said was, a lot of times people be in relationships, right? If we're talking about a heterosexual relationship, there's a woman and there's a man.
Right.
And a woman will be like, yo, this is my best relationship I've ever been in. And meanwhile, the dude is miserable, right? Because he's trying so hard to make sure that she's good. He's doing all that he can to make sure that the relationship is as good as it can be for her, that he's burning himself out. And he's not being praised or affirmed for any of the things that he's doing, right? And when you do that in a relationship, right, you end up depleting your man, right? If we're talking about women, right? She ends up depleting her man. And as a man, we feel like, yo, we're just being taken advantage of. She's not grateful for what it is that we do, right? And so I'm so glad you mentioned that. You gonna say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. I think I agree with you so much. And you know, I think it's a status thing and a social media interpretation of things, right? Because a lot of the times women want men to do things that they see other men do for other women on social media. So they may not appreciate the man or her man for doing something that's above and beyond for him because he's never done that. And because you've never communicated on a different layer outside of sex, kicking it, and, you know, chilling and laying up in bed and watching movies, you don't even know each other.
Right.
And, you know, just to make a long story short, bro, like, you know, during Ramadan, because I'm Muslim, I had to fast for 30 days. And, you know, for me, this was my first time fasting every single day throughout the entire 30 days. And inside of this fast, there's no food nor water for the first, from, you know, sun up until sunset.
I respect y'all for that, because I'll be thinking about that sometimes. I said, fuck no.
I mean, it's a discipline thing, bro.
I know, bro.
But I've been doing it since I was a kid. I just never was able to make it the full way. And me and my girl, we weren't together that long yet. But, you know, she's seen that I was doing it. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. I had to eat, drink water, everything. Bro, this is where things change for me. I've dealt with women. I've dealt with, you know, handling women or not even handling it, but juggling women, right? She was the only woman in my life outside of my mother who woke up with me at 5 a.m, cooked me breakfast, made sure that I ate and drank my water before I started my day, and then cooked for me at dinner time when it was time for me to break my fast. The only woman. So there's no woman that, I don't care how you look, I don't care what you say you can bring to the table, there's no woman that could compare to that, because if you're willing to sacrifice your sleep for me and cook and clean for me, and you know I'm tired throughout the day, you know I'm stressed, and you still being patient enough with me, bro, you got my loyalty for life.
We're gonna let that, listen, we got a tradition here on the podcast. When somebody goes and they spit, we let it sit for a little bit, bro. Because I think it's important as we go through these conversations that people really digest what's being said, bro. Because I don't think people really understand. They understand the story, but they don't understand what's being said underneath that, which is, bro, you have to really understand your partner, right? You're not saying that every woman needs to cook in the morning and night for her man. What you're saying is that's what worked for you in your situation. And because your girl understood you and paid attention and studied you, it worked and it helped you. And that's what made you realize, like, yo, this is the one, I'm gonna be loyal to her. You feel me? And I think that's so important. I was just talking about this on a podcast. Studying your partner, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, actually taking time to be intentional about what it is that you see from them, and be intentional about what it is that you're doing in the relationship. Because when you respond that way, it makes the relationship so much better. When you guys are both saying, you know what? I know Shorty has this that's going on at work. She gonna get home at this time. Let me see if I can get a DoorDash, or maybe let me cook something a little slight so that she don't have to come home and worry about this. And then she's also thinking the same way. When you guys are both thinking about each other,
you're in sync.
Y'all in sync. Y'all in alignment. There's no problem posting.
It's not.
You get what I'm saying? Because you already know, like, yo, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes,
bro. Let me tell you something.
Every
week.
What's up?
Every single week I buy my girls flowers. Every week. You know, it's like a ritual. And, you know, she posted on her story or whatever, and it's like, it's the fact that I'm doing it so consistent. So it may not, like, I may not take her on a jet, or I may not do those things, right? But best believe, like, I look at things like, you know, there's other men that have been in her life, but I'm best believe I'm gonna be the most consistent man when it comes to loving her. So if that means I gotta buy her flowers every single week, and she like, oh my God, it's that day again. Whoop, there I am. You walk in the closet, like, bro, there's so many times where, you know, there was a couple weeks ago, every single day I bought her flowers. So she would walk in the closet and she would be putting her clothes on. Oh, boom, flowers right there. She'll walk in and park the car. Boom, here I am, flowers right here. Ooh, hey, I pop up on you at work. Here's flowers. Now the girls at her shop like, oh my God, this is so cute. Why can't I get a man like that? It's because you're trying to juggle men, and you want men to do all these things and pay for money, and all, you want dudes to do all this stuff, where you pay for the Chanel, you want them to pop bottles, you want them to take you out of the country. That's cool and stuff, but you don't even understand him yet.
Right.
At what point in time do you look at, how can I come into his life and make his life easier? And that's what she did. So of course I'm going to cater to you. Right. You know, I'll buy her the things, and I'll take her out of the country and things like that. But it's the fact that I can be at home, and, you know, I can just be like, you know what, let me go run her some bubble bath real quick before she get back from work. Cause I know she just did an 7-hour shift, you know, doing some girls' lashes, and I know she need to relax. So let me go ahead and run that bubble bath water for her. Let me make sure she got her favorite wine right here, and let me make sure that she's straight.
Yo, and you know what's so interesting too, bro? I saw it. You just posted. You did you ran a bubble bath for her. You guys did like a ads. You helped her with her ads for her lash course. I was like, yo, this is fire. one of the things I wanted to mention to like tie everything in that you're saying, you were talking about I may not take her on a jet and da-da-da. I was thinking to myself, bro, you're not taking her on a jet, but you leveling her up.
Yeah, facts.
I don't really know her like that, but what I can say for sure is that you definitely are leveling her up in the sense of your intellect and what you know about business, helping her with her business. I'm sure, like, at least I know how I am with Naima. Like, if not, I tell her all the time, I said, babe, if you ever want to start a business, please hit me. I'm ready. I got the whole, when I tell you, bro, I got the whole play line
100%.
up already for her, bro. So I love to see that you were like, yo, we spent this amount on ads and we got this in return for profit. And as a celebration, we doing this. You feel me? Like, that's fire, bro.
I could break
That's
it down
tough.
too. It's like, so she did, and my girl a boss, bro. So it's like, you know, I try to empower her as much as possible, even though she sometimes beat herself up and I beat myself up. That's why the balance is there. That's why we're in sync. But you know, she was telling me she had wanted to do an in-person class for her lashes. She's probably, not even probably, she is the top lash artist in Atlanta. And I'm like, you know, how can I help her with this? You know, and she was like, you know, I just don't know how to promote it. I don't know how to market it. And I'm like, well, lo and behold,
this is what I do.
This is what I do. I make ads, I make content, I get a bunch of eyes on what I do. And you know, I'm like, all right, cool. So I swear to God, bro, I told her, I said, on this day, I think it was on a Tuesday, we went to her shop. I bring my camera. I have a super dope camera that I use for my YouTube content.
What you use? What camera?
I think it's this one right here.
Nah, this one is an A66.
I have a 60 or is it 70? It's something. It's a one above that one.
Okay. Maybe
I
it's
can't
a
remember exactly.
7.3 or something like that.
I don't know exactly.
I don't know cameras that well either. So let's keep going.
Right, I'm gonna keep going. So basically, we had chose on a Tuesday. We went out to her shop, and I took my camera, mic'd her up, and then I told her how to shoot the ads because that's my specific strength. I know how to make great ads and make them organic. So we shot 10 ads. Those 10 ads, I had set up her Facebook ads account. We went in there, we put in her 10 ads. We sat there together and chose, you know, how and where do we want these ads to show up on social media.
Right.
We chose a couple different target audiences of where people who would want to do a lash class in person could actually, you know, see it on social media. We made sure that it was targeted in Atlanta. And then basically we started spending around $80 a day. Okay. And we were focusing on getting messages in for her from her company to her company. Okay. So basically what happened is all these girls started messaging her lash. And basically we set up an automation to where the bot could respond back for her so she didn't have to spend too much time away from work. Right. And then what happens is they jump on a calendar, they book a call with her, she'll jump on the call, and then she'll close them. And then she'll close them for a $200 deposit, or she'll, you know, close them for a full $800, and this is for a weekend class. Right. So we ran ads for around 7 to 8 days. We ran ads for about 10 days. She spent around, probably say like $950 on ads, somewhere around there. And then she had her expenses for the class, so added another like $500. So she spent $1,400 total, but she had 8 girls pay her $800. And then that's where she, you know, made her bread. And it was like, you know, it was dope to be able to see her not only jump on the phone and close these girls, but I'm sitting there texting her like, yo, did you get one today? Yeah, babe, I just closed one for $800. They just sent in, they just went through Shop Pay. And I'm like, shit, she just got paid. You know what I'm saying? So it's a superpower when you have skill sets, but when you come together with a person with skill sets and a person with ambition and an idea, if you can constantly just mesh things together, then, you know, money is going to come regardless. It's just about the love that y'all building in that moment where y'all trying to, you know, bring that idea to life.
Yeah, man, you just talk about a skill set. I've been seeing you go on live talking about skill sets and the importance of skill sets. Can you explain why you think it's so important for us to develop skill sets, especially right now and what's going on in the world?
Yeah, bro, I think economies change. You know, if you look at market cycles, you know, there's constantly been time and time again where there's recessions, where there's down times in the market. And the problem is that we rely on one business model to make our money and to make sure that we're good. And, you know, you may not have a crazy amount of money to be able to invest how you want to. However, I do believe that the skill sets is the real superpower, because no matter what, if I went broke today, I know how to get it back. I know that I can go make ads for somebody else, or I can make ads to promote something that I'm selling, or I can run ads for another company. There's so many different things that I could do with the skill sets that I have. And you just really got to know what strengths you have, and then what are your weaknesses?
Right.
And then if your partner, so like for mine, you know, my girl, she's dope at design. I'm terrible at design.
Yeah.
So when I need something done, she says, all right, babe, I can knock it out. I'll probably have it done for you tonight. And I have it done. And I don't got to pay nobody else. I don't got to focus on it. I don't got to structure myself to learn this skill set if I didn't want to. But skill sets are important, bro, because the thing is your money, and there's no cap on the amount of money you can make.
Right.
But if you don't have any skill sets, then that is the cap. Because the problem is, you know, I always tell people, work your way up through the work system, right? Like, for example, I sold, you know, cable at one point in time, and I was in Sam's Club and I was selling cable and, you know, trying to make my money. Then I was like, all right, well, I need to do something bigger. I need to get paid more. That requires a different skill set. So I need to go learn something different. So I went and sold cars. I need to sell something that's higher ticket. All right, now I understand that. Well, how do I get into finance? Because now I'm selling cars, but they doing something, they making double what I'm making off each and every deal. So now I need to go learn about finance, and I'll start learning about banks, interest rates, credit cards. You know, how do these plans work? How do you sell these things? How do you break it down over the duration of their payment period so they don't even feel it? And you're still making money from it up front, and how, you know, to communicate with banks and all of these different things. As you start leveling it up, if you're getting it through the work system and then you start building your own business, these are things that you don't forget these things. You don't lose these things.
Right. Listen, man, go get you a skill, man.
Tax.
That's what I'm hearing. Go get you a skill. We got a, I think it's important. Let me say this real quick. We got a travel setup right now. I was just telling you before we got in here. I said I came to Atlanta to record episodes because I haven't been able to record my folks out in Atlanta because I live in New York. People not coming to New York like that. And when they do, they be in New York for like 2 days and they be gone. Right? Because listen, getting a spot out in New York, I already know it's mad expensive. So people don't really stay in New York that long. So I'm missing out on collaborations in Atlanta because I didn't have a setup that was able to travel. I spent the whole last 2 months just learning about cameras, learning about travel setups, learning about lighting, how to light a setup. Trying to figure out how can I get a setup that will allow me to travel so I don't have to pay a studio when I go to Atlanta. Because if I pay a studio, I'm probably 5xing my costs for you know, recording content versus myself. So I say, you know what, I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna buy this camera equipment. And then I'm gonna start traveling around and just doing a bunch of podcast episodes. Like I said, my 6th episode in the span of 3 days. If I had went to a studio and did 6 episodes, good Lord.
You dropped the bag. Bro.
I'd have been like, oh my God, these people got a bag off me, right? But I'm saying all that to say, I had to learn a bunch of different skills in the span of 2-3 months. Cause I said, yo, I want to be able to travel and do podcasting. Yeah. Right? If I want to do that, I have to spend the time learning the skills. I had no knowledge of, or very little knowledge of how to set up camera systems, tripods, lighting, all that. Right. But over the course of 2 months, I was like, nah, I'm gonna dedicate time to make sure that I learn how to do this. So regardless of where I go, I know how to light the scene properly. I know how to make sure that the scene looks good, that the quality looks good, right? So I'm saying all that to say it's important that when you have something that you're trying to do, that you don't think to yourself, nah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get this done. Yeah. You feel me? You think to yourself like, nah, instead of me thinking I can't get it done, how can I make it possible? Facts. And I've learned throughout my life that if I say I'm gonna do something, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Versus me saying I can't do it, which is also the same thing. I won't be able to do it if I say I can't do it.
100%.
You feel me? So I always lead with the thought process that regardless of what it is that I say I want to do, I can be able to do it if I just focus my mind on getting it right. And so that's why I was so happy that you talked about like 75 hard and like celibacy and like focus and having that mental clarity to be able to do things, because it takes that level of discipline to really commit yourself to learning these skills. And I think that's what stops a lot of people too, is when they trying to learn something difficult for the first time, they get discouraged because they believe that they're supposed to have it down the first time, right? Exactly. Can you tell people about some of the things that you try, like, can you tell people about some of the L's or like lessons that it took you to get to where you are right now?
Absolutely, bro. I mean, when I was first starting my do-rag brand, I didn't have money for a computer. Mm-hmm. So I was using the computers that my sales job had gave me, and I was running my ads on there. And when I tell you I was losing money on ads, like I was getting sales, but I was figuring out what was working and what wasn't working. But like you saying, like leading with, you know, positive intent when you're speaking, you know, the power of the tongue is real. So, you know, I said, you know, I may not have it right now, but I will figure it out. Right. It's not if I am going to, if I'm not going to, it's either going to work or it's going to work. Those are the only two options right there. And, you know, that's one of the L's that I took. I was sitting there running ads, trying to figure out, all right, I just spent $3,000 on ads, but I only made $1,800. But the thing is the more you test new things out, the more you figure out what works and what doesn't work. And the way I like to explain it is like, imagine if you're walking down the street and then you got, you know, 3 streets that split up. And, you know, multiple or 2 of these streets are dead ends, and then one is going to be the right one to go. But you have to go down each and every one of them in order to know which one is the dead end and which one isn't. And that's just part of the process. Right. You got to be able to take your L's to the chin, man. Like you got to keep your head up, you know, and I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to remember in the moment. Right. In the moment of an L, of a lesson that still stings, it's very, very difficult to still remember those things. But that's why I always tell people, when you have doubt, you should focus on remembering gratitude. Because at the end of the day, it could always be 10 times worse. And that's why I just kind of, you know, especially in my religion, I'm so grateful, bro. Like even for life, you know, to be able to wake up the next day because every 55 seconds, somebody is dying. So, you know, people think that, oh, tomorrow I'll do it. You know, I hate when people say, you know, I was telling my friends, all right, you should do 75 hard. Oh, I'll do it Monday or I'll do it on the 1st. I'm like, bro, that ain't guaranteed. So you sitting here trying to make a change to your life on an unexpected date is insane, crazy. What's the difference between Monday the 1st, January 1st? What's the difference between all of those and today?
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
You know what? It's so interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people, when they're trying to make a change, they're trying to get to a place where they're comfortable with understanding that it's going to take work, right? And so that's why a lot of people, they won't do it in the instant, and they'll stay like an arbitrary date in the future, because they're going to use that time between this day and that day to, like, mentally at least try to prepare themselves as much as they can. But what I've realized is that you'll never, like, when you really need to make a drastic change in your life, you're going to go through like a celibacy journey or like a 75 hard or a challenge. You can try and prepare yourself, but there's nothing like actually doing it, because when you actually do it, you realize all of the different things that it takes for you to actually do it. You get what I'm saying? Versus like trying to mentally prepare yourself to do it. Like you'll get closer to being in the right mental state, but you won't actually be in the right mental state until you actually start doing it.
Yeah, you're truly never prepared for anything in life. And that's why I always say, like, I'd rather go out and bump my head as many times as possible, because that's the preparation. The preparation is doing it right now and being focused on doing it right now, so that when success comes to you, it's no coincidence. You've earned it. But when you earn it, how do you keep it? Right. And how do you keep it consistent? How do you keep moving up? Right. And that's kind of like how I look at life is, you know, even with these days that I'm doing, you know, I'm day 18 right now, you know, I'm looking at the progression. You know, I didn't have to be prepared. You don't have to be prepared to do this challenge. What you need to do is just wake up tomorrow and just say, all right, I'm gonna go work out twice. I'm gonna go drink this and just do it. That's just life. You just, every day, it's like we go and brush our teeth without even thinking about it. Right. Why not go work on your physical, your emotions, your you know, finances and things like that. And I always tell people, if you don't learn how to sit down with yourself, you'll never be able to tell yourself to do something right when you want to do it. So you got to be able to sit down and meditate. It's not about sitting there and saying, and crossing your legs and all that, but it's being able to sit there with yourself and having your thoughts come to you and not controlling them, letting them roam wild and asking yourself, why do I feel like this when I think about this? And then getting to the root of the issue by yourself. Because nobody's with you nobody's with you as much as you're with you.
Yeah, that's a fact. So, a lot of people don't want to be with themselves though, bro.
They're not happy with themselves.
That's a big problem that I see. A lot of, especially for us as men, we don't know how to just sit down, like you said, and just be by ourselves and be with our thoughts. That leads to a lot of men rushing into relationships. Yeah. That leads to a lot of men doing things that they shouldn't be doing just for the sake of being around other people because they don't want to be by themselves. So if you don't know how to be by yourself, you end up causing yourself a lot more harm and delaying yourself a lot more because you're not spending that time with understanding who you are and what it is that you want to do, what makes you tick, what you don't like. That kind of thing. A lot of people don't really know who they are outside of who society tells them to be.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And so if you never really sat down and said, yo, I like this, or I don't want to do that anymore, or why do I feel like this? And like really sat with your thoughts. Yeah. You're not going to really understand what it is that you should be doing. Somebody was saying the other day too, like, I don't think everybody's born with a purpose. There was some cultures that was saying that some people, like not everybody's born with a purpose and that some people are just born just to exist. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that, bro.
I do too.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I wholeheartedly disagree. You're not just here. I mean, maybe, I guess, listen, I'm not gonna tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing, but I wholeheartedly disagree. I think some people would rather just exist than walk in their purpose. I think we can say that for sure. But I think everybody on earth was born with a purpose, regardless of if it's big or small, depending on like versus how we look at it. But I think everybody has a purpose on earth for sure. And I think it's hard for you to tap in with that if you don't really do the self-reflection to understand who you are, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think that, everybody's born with their own thing that they're good at. And then when you go out into the world and you see what everybody else is good at and what results that they receive from being good at that specific thing that you may not be good at, you start changing what you believe about yourself. And the problem is it's poisonous to yourself because now you self-inflicting this harm and this disease on you that you can't do something or not. Oh, this isn't meant for me because I don't look like this. I don't dress like this. I don't have this type of car or I don't have this type of setup. And, you start telling yourself that it's not possible for you to do it when in reality, that wasn't meant for you. That's meant for them. Right. And the problem is like when it comes to purpose, you can define your own purpose in your own way. Purpose is, nobody knows the next person's purpose. So I don't know exactly what your purpose is. Right. And you don't know exactly what mine is. Right. But I know my own and you know your own. Yeah. So when you just looking within yourself and you say, this is my purpose and you stand on it and then you die behind it and be willing to die behind it, that's what it is. So you just walk in that path. You walk in your direction that you're supposed to go in. Yeah. And one of the things too, I'm gonna say this and I wanted to pivot and ask you another question is your purpose is going to point you in the direction. Like once you identify your purpose, you'll realize how that starts to steer you in a direction to be able to fulfill that, right? So like when I was 19, I went through depression, right? I went through really bad time. I had suicidal ideations, all of that. And I didn't want to be here anymore. I used to think to myself, God, why are you doing this? Like, why am I going through this right now, bro? I used to question God a lot, bro, right? Why am I going through this right now? And it wasn't until I got out of it that I realized like, yo, we don't talk about this enough. And that's what led to me starting something called a Kizzle brand, which is a project that I started at that time aimed at raising awareness for depression and helping people through difficult times. I started that in 2017. And I remember when I first put that post out about it, I was like, yo, I know my purpose on earth is to help people to, talk about what it is that they're dealing with. It was something around that, help people with their mental health. Right. That's what I said. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I knew once I dealt with that depression, I said, nah, this is it.
this is what I've been put on this earth to do. I just had that something was telling me, I'm not even gonna say something. The Spirit was telling me that this is what it is that I need to be doing. I remember that vividly. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, we never made a dime off that business. Never made a dime. But I still kept staying obedient, right? I always tell people, stay obedient to what it is that you're called to do. I knew I was called to do it. Even though we weren't making money, I was staying obedient to it. 2020 happens. We decided to pivot and start Express Yourself Black Man because I started going to therapy and started realizing all these things about myself.
Yeah.
I said, nah, we got to start Express Yourself Black Man. Because my bro David, who's in here that you just met, he was pushing me to start it because I was going to therapy and I was talking about all these different things on my personal IG. He was like, yo, you got to start a podcast. Yeah. Right. So we started Express Yourself Black Man. And then from there, I'm not going to say overnight, right? But from there, we started to build this community. Now we have the largest platform for Black men, right?
Right.
We don't get there if I decide in 2017 that, you know what, this thing ain't working out. I don't really want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to deal with all of this. I don't want to be obedient to what I'm being called to do. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? We don't get there if I don't decide that I'm going to invest in my purpose and actually walk in that regardless of what it seems like.
100%.
And me being aware of what my purpose is led to doors and opportunities that allow me to step into it and walk with it, bro. I wanted to pivot and ask you, you moved to Atlanta from Cleveland.
Yeah.
What led you to make that move? Because I feel like, maybe I'm bugging, but I feel like you were very successful in Cleveland already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did you decide, you know, I'm gonna come to Atlanta?
Honestly, bro, I felt like it was a fishbowl, you know? And, you know.
What you mean by that?
You know, there are certain terms where scientists say, like, if you put certain, you know, like say like a shark or something like that, you put it inside of a fishbowl, it'll only grow to the size of the fishbowl. And I don't know if it's exactly sharks, but I think it's some fish or something out there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want, like, I reached a level and I felt amazing, but I felt like there was literally no other person on my level unless they were 30, 40 plus. And my way of getting access to them was like a lot less because I couldn't, like, as a young person, I may be able to communicate that way, but how do I even get into that room with you?
Right.
You're not doing the things that I would be doing at 21, 22.
Right.
But not only that, but when you start reaching a high level of success, and I wouldn't even say I'm the most successful person in the world. I just define my own success as, you know, me being able to put myself in a position to take care of me and my family consistently. I think that once I started growing, I had too many eyes on me within my city, and jealousy and envy is real.
Facts.
And, you know, I just didn't feel safe. You know, I didn't feel comfortable. You know, I couldn't buy the things that I wanted to. You know, I couldn't buy a Rolex. I couldn't, you know, go out and rent out a Lamborghini for, you know, a weekend just because I wanted to go have fun and kick it. I couldn't go do those things. And now, you know, I have the leisure. If I wanted to go buy a Lamborghini, I could go do it. If I wanted to buy a dozen Rolexes, I could. But it's the fact that I moved to a space where I'm safe and I feel safe and I feel comfortable, but there's other whales around me. There's other people doing better than me. And, you know, that's why your circle and your network is so important, is because, like, if you're around the same people, you know, Nip said it best. If you hang around 5 broke niggas, you bound to be the 6. So the thing is I can't be the only rich one in my circle. It don't make sense. So like, unless I want to go back to where they going, or unless I want to align myself with the trajectory they going down, I gotta change my circle. And that's why I moved.
So how has that been for you? Because I know you have a daughter. What's that process been like?
It's a difficult thing, man. You know, traveling back and forth. You know, I travel back and forth to Cleveland every 2 weeks now. Okay. 2-3 weeks. And, you know, it's difficult because my daughter used to live with me at one point. You know, she was with me every single day. I was taking her to school. So I was already in a routine. Right. It was very painful, bro. It's still painful to this day, you know, having to FaceTime her and things like that. But, you know, I always realized that, you know, I came here. The only reason I came here was to put myself in such a good position that she'll never have to question anything in life ever again. Right. Like, as far as, do I have enough money to go to college or things like that, if she wanted to. Right. I had to go put myself in a predicament where it's painful right now, but I know the payoff in the future will be worth all of it in the end.
Sometimes you gotta endure a little pain to get to where it is that you need to get to, and to take care of your family, bro. So I respect that. Yeah. How's that co-parenting situation been like for you?
I would say, bro, like, you know, I've been through the court, child support. I've been through it, bro. It's a process, bro. It's all mental, to be honest. You know, you can keep arguing with somebody and you can keep debating, but at some point when you realize how smart you are, you just kind of realize you're running in the same circle over and over again. You know, it's not the best situation in the world, but it's cordial. Right. And as long as it's cordial and we can at least, you know, be around each other for her sake, for my daughter's sake, that's all that really matters to me. So like I said, it's not the best situation in the world, but you know, having a good, strong woman next to you, like my girl, keeps me balanced. So like there's certain things that women do that men, it pushes your buttons to the next level, right? But the thing is like my mom always did it, my girl does it now. There's women who understand what they're doing. It's like a playbook and you plan, like you about to play football and they about to go run this play and you about to run this, but you can switch up your play based off of what they're showing you on theirs. And that's kind of the cheat code when you have strong women around you, is that they can put you onto game on how she's running game on you. And that's kind of how I started thinking. And then, you know, I just started realizing like, you're not worth arguing with. Like you're not, you know, no disrespect, but it's just like, my energy is sacred. And what I'm doing right now requires my focus for my daughter, not for you, for my daughter. So yeah, you might be getting this check from me every month. You might be, you know, doing whatever you're doing. That's cool. But at the end of the day, when my daughter is a little bit older and she comprehends things, she'll know what's up. Right.
What advice, because I always, since you're in a co-parenting situation, I want to ask you this question because I know there's some fellas that can relate. What advice would you give some men that may be in a situation similar to yours, where they probably, it's not the greatest, and then from time to time, they're probably dealing with certain, you know, disagreements, arguments, you know, and it's a little bit of friction between the two. How do you, what advice would you give them to help them navigate that?
Honestly, not only just for y'all, but for me too, if I could talk to my younger self when I was dealing with all of this, is give yourself 72 hours. Before, I know, bro, she pissed you off, and as much as she pissed you off, you could easily send a quick text and piss her right back off. But what I've learned, bro, is you gotta take 2 or 3 days to yourself. You know, I've heard Drake talk about this concept that his mom told him. And it's like, you know, the first day, you know, something happens, you mad, you pissed, you wanna react, but you don't. You give yourself the first 24 hours. The next day, it still stings. You still wanna react, but it stings just a little bit less. So you say, all right, I'm still not gonna say nothing, I'm not gonna do nothing. Give yourself another 24 hours. Now you 2 days in, now you like, I really don't even care no more for real. But it's still, there's still that little stinginess a little bit, and you're still thinking about it a little bit. On that third day, it'll be pretty much gone depending on the situation, right? But I would say be patient, bro. You know, understand have the power. So if you sitting there arguing with her, women like to get into stuff like that. I wouldn't say all women, but most women like to be dramatic. They like to get into arguments. They like to see you pissed off, especially if y'all not together. And there's so many men that I know now where their kid's mother wants to do is piss you off. She gets excitement out of that. But when you show her that I can't be phased, you can't get through to me, they have no choice but to just stop. And that's what I got to. It's like, you can try to push all my buttons you want, but I'm gonna be so respectful in the way that I respond back to you, that you can be like, man, this motherfucker done leveled up. And then when you see that I'm with another woman and I'm treating her the way that she needs to, but you sitting here arguing and you pissed off and you mad about what's going on, that's just the trick of the trade.
You know what you're saying that's so interesting, that's reminding me, I talked to she's a life coach, but she primarily works with couples that are in high conflict situations. So not necessarily your situation. She's talking about like, probably like fighting and all that kind of stuff, right?
That's crazy. I never did stuff like that.
not that, right? So what she was saying though is when you're dealing with a high conflict co-parent, you have to do what you talked about, which is like, you have to kind of not necessarily be stoic, but you have to just not play the game.
You can't,
because that's what you're talking about. It's a game that's being played. They get a rush, or if they find enjoyment in knowing that they can create the environment that they want, or everybody has to respond to the environment that they create. You get what I'm saying? Power. Yeah, and it's a power thing. It's a control thing. And so when you don't do that, you relinquish. They have to relinquish their control, right? So Yeah, that's interesting. I'm so glad you said that, man. I'm so glad you said that. So you only have one daughter.
I have 2 daughters.
You have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have my daughter Naila, she's 5, and I have Amina, she's 2 months.
Okay. Oh, okay. How has it been having? Well, what was one of like the wildest experiences that you've had being a dad? Like, what was one of those moments where you're like, damn, I'm a dad right now. Like, this is crazy.
Man, there's so many. I have so many, bro. Like, you know, even my daughter accidentally cussing.
Oh,
like,
really?
I'm like in shock. Like, oh, she's like, damn. I'm like, did I just hear what I just heard? And it's just funny, bro, because, you know, like my parents, my mom, she wasn't super strict, but, you know, in an Islamic, you know, family, it's a little bit more strict than the average family. And, you know, not only that, but I just think, you know, dropping her off at daycare, you know, that stuff is like, or, you know, now she's in kindergarten and, you know, going to, they had an event, take your kid to school day, but only dads. And it was all these black dads and it was so beautiful, bro.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
you talk about that.
Yeah, bro, it was so beautiful, bro. I'd never seen anything like it.
Right.
Never seen nobody talking about it. All you hear about is black men not being there. But this entire school was filled with people from the county, from this one county, who were all black dads. You know, there was white dads and Hispanic dads and things like that, but predominantly black dads in their kids' lives. And I'm like, man, I'm proud to be a dad. Yeah. And I'm proud to have a daughter. Yeah. You know, in the future, I definitely want to, you know, change things for myself because I understand that when you create broken households, it's not about the broken household itself. It's not about that narrative. It's about what it does to the child. And then if you're a man that really cares for your child, what it does internally to you. Yeah. Because there's always this stinging pain that goes on every day in my life, even right now. And, you know, a lot of people won't be able to relate to it. And, you know, I've made dumb mistakes. I've made dumb decisions and I wouldn't go back and change it. That's the thing. You gotta have this honesty with yourself that I did what I did. I can't go back and change it. I'm just gonna make the best of what I got. Right. And that's really how I think about things. You know, I don't have the best co-parenting situation. And as much as I wish my daughter could live with me every single day, that's the goal, that's the focus. But, you know, I just gotta do what I gotta do now, but always making sure that my kid is loved. Right. Always making sure that they know that I'm willing to go the farthest. I'm willing to die about you. Right, right. And I express that.
Right. What's some advice that you would give to new dads that's going through it for the first time? They're about to have a kid or they just had a kid. What's some advice that you would give them in that situation?
Get them on a schedule. Get them on a schedule, bro. And sometimes let their schedule make your schedule. So especially in the beginning when it's newborns, take the nap when they take the nap. You know, because at night you might not be able to sleep. And that's a lot of the times when my daughter is like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. You know, it just is what it is. I'm gonna nap when you nap. So you take a 2-hour nap, I'm gonna take a 2-hour nap with you. But, you know, also giving yourself some structure is important. You know, like consistently still working out, eating a little bit healthier, drinking more water, staying hydrated throughout the day so you can maintain being in a life and not being gassed when you with them. And I've been through that a lot of times. And that's the, you know, one of the difficult things about business is that you're constantly going because you fuel the business, you fuel the income in most cases. And what I've realized is that sometimes I might be so tired that I might not be able to, you know, go out and ride the bike or go out and take you swimming on these certain days because I'm so gassed. But, you know, for a dad, you'll realize that there's like this tank, and like you have a closet and then there's a tank in the back of there. And you got to open that closet door up. Sometimes you got to tap into that tank. You got to show them like, all right, let me pick my energy up. Let's do it. Let's have some fun because that's what kids care about. They don't care about what you buying them. They care about the time that you spend with them and how you spend that time with them. So I would say, appreciate the time that you have with your kids. Right, that's a fact. And do as much as you can to show them that they're loved. Yeah. And if you can't be with the parent or the other parent, do what you can. Absolutely. One thing I want to ask you too, because now I'm interested. Do you believe? I'm gonna ask you a couple of things. So I'm gonna just ask this one. I'm trying to see how I should structure it. So first of all, let me ask this one question. How did you meet your girl, if you don't mind? Yeah. So she actually shot her shot.
She shot her shot.
Yeah, she shot her shot.
Listen, man, you heard it here. She shot her shot at Tez in the DMs. Nah, still, how did it go? She was in your DMs?
Yeah, she actually DM'd me. And the first time we went on a date, I still remember we went out to a movie. And I remember when I first seen her, she had got out, and I'm like, she fine, you know what I'm saying? But when she got out, or she wasn't even getting out the car yet. I think she was getting something out of her car. She went back in, and I put my hand on her car. She's like, don't put your hand on my car. And I'm like, oh, it's like that. At that moment, I was like, I don't know if this gonna work.
Yeah, it's clip.
Yeah, but you know, she was joking around, but she had like this little serious manner to her because you know she has a wall, and it was different because most of the time with women, I won't try to be cocky or nothing, but it was a little bit easier for me. It was a little less hostile, I would say. There was no wall, so it was easy for me to communicate. And it was just different. And I was like, oh, okay, so now you are joking, okay? Okay, cool. Right. So we watched the movie and everything, and you know, we went out and got a hookah and drunk some wine together, and we spent hours with each other just talking. But I realized that we could have deep conversations, like who are you? Right. And those are conversations you just don't have on the first date. Right. So that's how we met, and we talk about it. I still talk about it. She like, you know, she says, I knew what I wanted. And I'm like, I know what I want. You know what I mean? I get it. Like if I want $1 million and I know that's what I want, I'm gonna go get it. And, you know, for her, it was like, you know, I see the man that you are. I see, you know, the type of father you are. Why wouldn't I want a man like that? We've just been locked in since.
What did she say if you don't mind? Was it in the DM?
She sent the eyes, I think. Just the eye emojis. Like, you know how they
like
eyes
yeah. Like reply to your story?
Yeah, it was a reply to my story.
Okay.
And I was like, what's up with you? You know, like, and then that's how I really hit off.
Okay. Listen, ladies, go send them eyes. Not a test, but you know, if you see somebody you want it, go shoot your shot. I'm you know what's so interesting? I got a bro that live out here. And he was telling me, yo, the women in Atlanta different. They be shooting their shot. They shoot their shot. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know nothing about it. I don't want it to happen to me for sure, but I don't know, right? So it's so interesting to say, for you to say, because I was not, that was definitely not what I was expecting. Bro. So that's so interesting. And I wanted to also highlight the date that y'all went on. How much was that date in total?
Bro, I probably only spent like, a movie, probably about $50. We got like nachos and a slushie. Actually, we got drinks. No, that night it was like $100. We was drinking margaritas. And then we went out to get more drinks. So I probably only spent like $200.
$200. But if we take the drinks out, right? Yeah. Probably spend like maybe $50, $75.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I tell men all the time, I don't know what dates these dudes are going on.
I don't know nothing.
I don't know what first dates these dudes are going on, bro.
Facts.
But if you spending over $200 on the first date, right? And you ain't got it like that, but you got it, right? If you spend it, if you ain't got it like that, yo, you can go on a $50, $75 date and really get to know a person. You can do a really good, some of my best dates, I didn't spend more than $75, bro.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? Like if you really are creative,
you gotta be creative.
Yeah,
bro.
but that's
you gotta be unique.
That's the problem. That's what I'm getting to, Taz. A lot of dudes, they don't wanna be creative when it comes to making to plan the date. They just wanna, okay, you know what? We're gonna do the simple thing. We're gonna go out to eat. I know she wanna do this, she wanna do that. You have to be creative, right? Like you have to think around the box. A lot of women like to spend time. They want to do quality time, quality things together. You want to create an intimate environment. I was just talking to Tanya about this. I had Tanya on a podcast yesterday. We were talking about when you're planning a date, you don't want to necessarily, like the goal of a date is not to spend a bunch of money. The goal of a date is to be able to understand the person that you're dating and to create an intimate or an environment for intimacy, right? Sometimes it may not be going to movies. Sometimes it may not even be going out to eat, right? It could be sitting in the car and talking, right? I'm not saying that the whole date got to be that, but you can plan that into what it is that you guys are doing. It could be going to a museum, talking about pieces, right? It could be doing a painting sip. It could be a variety of different things. All of these things that I just named, none of them go past $50, $75.
At all, bro.
You get what I'm saying? So why do we have this conversation about who's paying for the first date and who's paying? If you got to split a $50, $75 date, I'm sorry.
You don't need to be dating.
You don't need to be dating, bro. You do not need to be dating if you gotta split a $75 date.
I think the thing is, it's like, you know, there's unique things that you can do. You could take her out on a picnic. You know what I mean? You could take her bowling. You know, and y'all can sit down and talk. But the thing is, it's like the narrative. You know what I mean? It's so social media plays such a big part in how we view relationships now. That is just like poisonous because that's the first thing you think. That's not actually real. You know, when I was growing up, my mom worked night shifts and I was living with my grandparents a lot of the time. and they were married for 62 years, 63 years, since 19. And every single day he came back from work, one of his signs of intimacy was bringing her Snickers. So it's the little things when you pay attention to her and when you learn her that counts the most.
Right.
But the narrative has changed because this is the thing, bro. As we men started making more money and as the narrative changed and as social media became more prominent in our lives, what happened is the expectations got higher.
Right.
So now you got women, oh, if he don't spend $600 with me on the first date, we not doing that.
Right.
Or if he don't take me shopping on the first week that we talking, I don't even want him. To me, that's what she expects. I mean, but you know, certain people have their own expectations. That's cool. But if that's what you want, internally, there's something off. Yeah. And I don't even want to deal with you. But the thing is I'm not gonna sit there and judge you. You're used to that. You may have dealt with a dude. Like, I don't get mad at people when they express how they feel about certain things unless it's just outlandish, right? But for a lot of women, the only men that they've ever dealt with were men that were millionaires and up. Yes. So they're used to a certain lifestyle, and you can't come off as a person who just like blames them or saying like, oh, that's messed up and da da da. That's what they're used to. You're not used to that lifestyle. You won't understand these things. However, I do believe that instead of saying these things in these ways, it could be worded differently. Because you don't need to spend $800 on a date. If I got to take you out to STK and I got to spend $400 on a date, $500 on a date, even if I have it, I'm still not doing it. Because why would I do that with you when I'm only spending 2 hours with you and I don't even know you? Facts. I do that stuff for my girl now. We locked in. We relationship. We locked in. You living with me. Like, oh, you want to go to STK? Bet. Cool. You can work your way up to that level. But fellas, you don't have to do that bullshit. Right. You can actually put your fucking foot down and you can say, oh, that's what you want to do? Cool. I'm going to leave you on red. Bye. There's not like, there's superpowers. This is superpower to be able to leave a girl that isn't aligning with what you're trying to do, to just say, yo, this is not gonna work out for me. I appreciate you. I've done this so many times, bro. Like, in a respectful way. Hey, I really appreciate you. I think you're a dope person. I just don't think that you're the best fit for me, but I truly do wish the best for you.
You know how I can tell you've done that a lot? Why? Because you just spit that line out just straight like that. I know you done said that shit. I know you said that shit a few times. Bro. I know you said that shit a few times.
Bro, your energy is everything, bro. If you're not willing to cut off a girl based off her body, based off how she look and sex, if you're not willing to cut that off, then you might as well throw your energy out the window.
Nah, that's a fact. I was just gonna say that too. A lot of times, for us as men, I've said this a lot in podcasts. When we start talking about relationships, I always got to mention this. We don't know how to intentionally date. You know what I'm saying? So we go into dating without having any criteria for who it is that we date. And so when we start seeing women that are like, oh, I want a $600 date, I want this, I want that, and you are attracted to her because your only criteria is attractiveness, you start feeling like, oh man, I can't do it, and this is the person that I want. Nah, bro, you don't even know if this is the person that you want because you don't have a list of who it is that you're looking to be with, right? You don't have a list of, outside of big titties, big ass, nice face, you don't have a list outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people that are in that pool. If you look at big titties, big ass, and nice face, there's a lot of people that fit that. So you have to really hone in on who it is that you are, who it is that you're trying to bring into your space, and who you're trying to share your energy with. And so I think a lot of fellas are dating wrong. And then they're getting mad at women because they're attracting the wrong things because they don't even know what it is that they're looking for in the first place. So my advice always is create a list of 10 things, right? A lot of fellas will get to number 5 and 6 and then not know where to go from there. And that's an indication right there that you're probably not ready to date either, right? Like you're not really sure what you want, right? So you need to spend more time being intentional about who you are and understanding who you are before you start dating. And I think we don't take that time. It's just like what we were talking about earlier with sitting with yourself, right? Like a lot of people, man, this shit going hit. I know this shit going hit for a lot of folks right now, right? A lot of people, bro, a lot of men, bro, they get out of a relationship, what they do? They fuck around for a little bit. Next 2 months, they in another relationship.
Of course.
What the hell are you doing? Right? Like, what are you doing? Sit down, bro.
Lock in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you gotta not talk to nobody. Bro, sit down.
Just gotta slow down.
Yeah, slow down, bro. You don't always have to be in a relationship. Let me just say that. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. Let me just cook real quick. Nah, one thing I was working with my therapist, and she had me make a timeline of my relationships, right? This is why I talk about like hopping from relationship to relationship, because I used to do it, right? So she had me make a timeline of like my relationship history. She's like, all right, make it from like 2017 or when you got in your first relationship. I got into my first relationship when I was mad young, around like 2012 or whatever. Then that relationship lasted until 2016. 2017, I get into 2018, I get into another relationship, right? Then I get into another relationship after that. So she's starting to show me like, yo, bro, you're always in relationships. Maybe you need to slow down. And it wasn't until I really sat and looked at my timeline that I realized like, yo, bro, you're always in relationships. And it's because I was always trying to rush into another thing because I didn't feel comfortable being to myself. And I also never had criteria out of big titties, big ass, nice face. You get what I'm saying? So I can rush into something because everybody's meeting my criteria.
Facts. I mean, bro, and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Me and Rich and Unemployed, I don't know, you know my boy Finesse. Finesse was on the club.
Yeah.
You know, I went on there and I spoke about this, and he, you know, we definitely said the truth on this. You know, outside of the big titties, big ass, you know, nice face, underneath all of that, this person is damaged. And I'm not saying that you don't want damaged goods. I'm just saying that this is going to come with more than what you expect. And this, because you are looking at things from a vision standpoint and not listening to what you see or listening to what you hear right now, that's the only thing that you want. And you don't know no better because you probably never really sat down and asked yourself, man, is loyalty big to me? Is communication big to me? Can I trust this girl? Is she willing to eat fucking Subway today? Or is she gonna flip and say, oh, nah, that's not me? Like, if I say, yo, let me text her real quick and take her out on a date. Hey, I wanna do a picnic. I wanna do Subway. I wanna get this sheet and I wanna make this little nice. Is she gonna flake? Or she gonna be like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I really wanna do that with you. There's levels to women. And I think that women, you know, I try not to view it from only one scenario or one aspect. I also understand that, you know, it's tougher for women because they're competing in a world where there's not a lot of very successful men, right? But the very successful ones do want these qualities and traits. So now they feel like they have to adjust who they are to fit this criteria of men. But the problem is that you're becoming one in a dozen. And once that man has you, you're gone. Like once he has you for a minute and then he's gone. Like he moves on to the next, the one that's younger, the one that looks a little bit better, the one that's ass a little bit fatter. And his priorities may be different than the man that, you know, and I hate it because, you know, I never really talked about it on a podcast or nothing like that, but it's kind of crazy to me because it's like the men who work solid jobs and you may be making $60, $70, $80,000 a year, but you keep a roof over your head and you're happy and you understand who you are and you work out and you keep up with yourself. Women feel like they don't want a man like that if he's not making six figures. And to me, it's so fucking insane because when you start really looking at the numbers, bro, majority of to be a black man making over six figures, and I'm talking actually making over six figures, it's less than 5%. So you're asking for a man that not only is less than 5%, okay, but then he needs to be dark skinned, then he needs to be 6 foot. So now you're definitely in the 1% range. And the problem is why are y'all shitting on the dudes that making $70,000, $80,000 a year, but he happy and he know who he is. And he not compromised by having to go buy a watch and chain or go buy some bottles and pour it out on the floor. He know who he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. He might be investing for his future. The thing is like, you know, Bill Gates didn't get, or not even Bill Gates, Warren Buffett didn't get all of his wealth in one time period, in one generation. He's been doing this for decades. So to think that a man who's making $60,000 a year right now is going to be the same man 20 years from now is crazy. You're not giving a man enough time to get to the next level. You know, they always say like, you know, for men, it's like, we don't reach our peak until our 30s. So you talking about a man that's 26 who makes $60,000 a year, not being able to be with him because he don't make six figures, but you ain't even give him a chance to get to 32 where he really hit his prime.
Listen.
They don't want to talk about that.
No, look. We gonna let that one sit for a little bit, okay? Because you touched on a lot of different things. It's very important, and I think it's also important for people to understand who it's coming from, because you are, in my eyes, very successful, right? You've done a lot, right? You have it, right? You're not at the 60, 70, 80K range. So there's no reason for you to say that
right.
in cap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're saying that because you actually really do believe that, right? And I think it's important for us to understand, bro, like, yo, first of all, yes, money is important. Don't get me wrong. Money is very important, but money is not everything, bro. There's people that have lots of money that are not in healthy relationships.
Yeah.
So for us to make it seem like all men are reduced to is the amount of money that they bring in, like that is insanity, bro. I have a affirmation. I don't know if it went up last week or this week or some week. It's gonna go up eventually. I said, black man, do not let your net worth determine your self-worth.
Yeah, it's a bar.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I'm gonna say that one more time. Black man, do not let your net worth determine your self-worth. Because in this society, if people are going out with the same thing that you're talking about, where it's like, yo, you gotta have 6 figures to even mess with me, blah, blah. It becomes very hard for men that are actually honest and working and trying to make a living to feel like they're even worthy or valuable, right? Because it's like everywhere you turn, all you're seeing is people saying you gotta make this amount and you're trying your hardest to get there, but maybe your manager's bullshit and he won't give you the promotion.
Facts.
Or you're having a hard time with the education, getting to the place where you need to be educated to get that role, or you're just not able to land that job because the economy is shit. You get what I'm saying? And so you feel like, yo, I'm trying my hardest to get to this place, but people keep overlooking me because I'm not at a place where I'm making 6 figures. So I'm so glad you said that, because there's a lot of honest, hardworking men out here that are tired of having to see, yo, you're not 6 feet, 6 figures, whatever else. It's all this crazy ass criteria that has nothing to do with the character of a man.
But notice how and this is crazy, notice how all the women who say that are still single. So you want me to compromise my morals for a woman that's still single, talking about the things that she want but don't even have? You don't even come home to this man tonight. He goes home to a different person who's not you, who don't got the BBL, who don't got all that. She's an honest, good woman who is just a strong-headed woman. He goes home to her.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. I want to talk to the guys that are in this position right now, where you're making like a 60, you're making like a 50, 60, 70 right now, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I used to live in Massachusetts. I was making $48,000 in Massachusetts. I was living basically paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
After every check I got, I probably had like, maybe if I really squeezed, I probably had like $500 after every check, right? What I said to myself during that time is, I said, yo, I don't want to have to consistently do this. Right. My thought process was, I'm going to land a job that's going to let me be able to be more comfortable, right? I want to get in the 6-figure range. If that don't happen, but that's my goal. I'm going to make sure that I work my ass off to get there, right? And it wasn't, I'm going to do this because I want shorty to approve of me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't put your motivation, don't allow your motivation to be based on what society is saying that you should be doing. Have intrinsic motivation, because when you don't have that, once you get it, it becomes very hard for you to get to the next level that you need to get to, right? Because all your motivation was based off of what people were saying, right? Trying to be in a relationship. The only reason why I want to have 6 figures because I want to get into a relationship. Nah, do that for you. You feel me? So I literally grinded. I remember I was like, yo, I told this story. I think I told it to one of my bros that's going through this process right now, trying to figure it out. I was like, yo, I was working in the government at that time. I was trying to land a tech job, and I was teaching myself how to learn. I was teaching myself coding again, because I had learned it in school, but I hadn't done it for 2 years. I was working in this job, and I had lost all those skills. So I taught myself coding again. I remember I was doing coding problems on a whiteboard in the office that we were in, and my coworkers used to legit laugh at me. They would laugh, oh, you practicing coding? Like, what's wrong with you? You laughing. What do you think you're gonna do with that? Right? Because we
Yeah.
weren't doing any coding. They were legit laughing at me. I was so serious about getting out that situation. I didn't give a fuck, bro. I did not care. I said, y'all laughing. I'm gonna get the last laugh. Y'all gonna be sitting here stuck and I'm gonna be gone.
Facts.
And what happened? It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
But 2-3 months down the line, I applied to hundreds of jobs, bro. I literally got 100 rejections. Those are just the rejections I got. I applied to way more jobs than that. You feel me? Those are just the rejections I got. I finally landed my job. And now I'm able to live comfortably and able to do things like this where I'm able to spend my money and invest in what it is that we're building. So I'm saying all that to say, bro, if you at 60 right now, if you have 50, 60, 70, whatever the case may be, you got a good ass foundation, bro.
Right,
You got enough for yourself where you're able to take care of yourself, at least for the time being. Use that foundation to build on top of that, bro. Don't let these people make you feel like you ain't got no value because you're not at 6 figures right now. Man, fuck all that, bro. A lot of people that saying that, not even at 6 figures in damn selves.
Yeah, and that's the thing, bro. A lot of people talk
I gotta
revenue.
calm down before they get mad at me. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, to be honest, bro, a lot of people talking revenue. When you really reaching, I'm gonna be honest with you, when you crossing 6 figures in profit, bro, shit's stressful.
It is.
The taxes that you pay, bro, I paid almost 6 figures in taxes last year.
Oh my
so you
God.
want to make 7 figures. All right. When you get to 7 figures, are you okay with making 6-figure tax bills? Yeah, I could have invested differently. I could have did things differently with my money. A 6-figure tax bill is a 6-figure tax bill. I don't give a fuck how you look at it.
Right.
Like it's money that I don't want to give these motherfuckers who did nothing in my business. It's money I don't want to give them, but I do. And here, let me tell y'all this, bro. At 18, I had my daughter, right? I just graduated high school, didn't go to college. That year that I ended up not going to college, I made $16,000. Next year, 19 years old, working at a factory, I made $27,000 that year. 20. While I was 19, working at that factory, I was delivering do-rags. I started my first company. I went from $27,000 a year to $60,000, right? And that's because I invested into my company, into my business, and I started locking in on it. By the grace of God, that company, that same one that I invested in, I took all the money because your job is your very first investor. The money that I took and invested into that company ended up keep scaling. And I started another one. And then that one hit that point where the do-rag brand was 2 times faster. So the money kept compiling. But then I just started investing all the money that I was making from these companies and these brands into myself and then into the stock market, understanding how to read charts. I started reading more. I started telling myself, well, guess what? The person that I want to be requires a different version of things that I'm doing right now. So if I want to be this person, that requires me to cut off the person that I am right now. What does that look like? So if you're making 60,000, 50,000, shit, 40,000 a year, bro, it may not be the best time for you to be dating right now if that's what you come down to. But if you want to date and at 60,000, 70,000 a year, bro, there is no fucking problem with that shit, bro. Like we just got to change the narrative. And that's why I appreciate this platform so much, so we can express these things to the black men because nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah.
We tell you to increase your income, and absolutely you should, because the way the economy is, nothing's for sure.
Right.
But I would say don't base who you are, like you said, off your net worth.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact, bro. Man, is there anything else that you want to add? Anything that you wanted to touch on that we didn't touch on? I feel like we've covered a lot, man, and it's definitely been a dope episode.
I would just say, bro, it just feels better that I'm not talking about business. Every bro, I've been on so many podcasts, bro, and the first thing they hit me was, "Who are you? And tell me about your business." And it's like, I could give game endlessly, bro, but it just feels repetitive. But I feel like this was very refreshing. I just want to say, shout out to y'all who are watching. Definitely, please subscribe, yo, and drop a like for my guy. But appreciate you for even having me come out here, bro. Like even when you extended the opportunity out here to me, and even just the subject, express yourself, black man. I'm down, 100%. I don't give a fuck if I gotta pay to get on there. I do. You know what I'm saying? But I just think for the men out there, bro, like don't be so hard on yourself. And also forgive yourself, bro. You've done things that you're not proud of. I've done things I'm not proud of. Every human has done things that they're not proud of. And you look back on those things, and the problem is you're self-inflicting these poisons and diseases on you because you just won't let go. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean that defines who you are as a human. So forgive yourself. If you had kids with women and you messed up a couple times, bro, How many other men, bro, have done the same exact thing? There's men who have 11, 12 kids and not in none of their kids' lives. But if you had kids with a couple women and you don't like how the life is going, just be there for your kids. And then work on looking at, all right, what do I need to do to be the dad that I would be proud to have? Change your definition of self.
Good Lord, man. Can you tell them people where they can find you, anything that you got coming up, bro?
Absolutely.
How they can support?
Absolutely. It's the boy Dontez Akram. You guys can follow me on Instagram @_TheRealTez. YouTube, Dontez Akram. Again, please leave a subscribe to my guy. Twitter, Dontez Akram as well. As far as things that are coming up, I've just been pushing out a lot more YouTube content.
Okay.
Really focused on, giving you guys as much game as possible. I do have a Discord community, so it's called Limitless Investments. It's the #1 clothing brand community in the world with 9,760 members now, close to 10K. So I would love to see you guys in there. It's a monthly subscription. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. But if you guys want to check it out, feel free to in my bio on Instagram. But other than that, y'all need to hit the subscribe button ASAP. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And even outside of the subscribe button, go sign up for that free webinar that we teach on how to find a Black therapist, man. We take you through the process of not knowing what you need in a therapist, not knowing where to find a therapist, all of that stuff. We take you step by step by step to help you to find a therapist. And you have the opportunity at the end of the webinar, if you watch the whole thing, to tap in with one of the professionals that we have inside of Safe Haven. So, man, Tez, it's been dope having you.
Bro.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
This is a dope episode. I can't wait.
Let's get it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our Safe Haven healers who are Black mental health professionals so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link. Once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. Shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. Know you need to hear it, my brother, I love you.